Coach Joe, appreciate the time. We'll start with opening thoughts on the game from each of you and then take questions.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a disappointing result. I feel like we kind of let those guys off the hook. 3-goal game despite us not shooting great, making a lot of errors, giving up a big run in the second half, giving up a goal with, under a second left. I think it's disappointing because our team's capable of so much more, and we've seen it at moments throughout the season. But, we keep coming to the same point where we win one, lose one, and we haven't been able to string 2 wins together in a row, and it's definitely frustrating.
Yeah, if these games were 24 minutes, I think we'd be pretty good. But we haven't been able to put together more than 2 quarters in a game, except for one time this year. Just, looking at the stats, we had our opportunities, particularly early, and we got to put the ball in the cage. Certainly Liam's a very talented goalie, but we had opportunities right on top of him, and we've got to shoot the ball better. We shoot the ball better, it might look a little different, but great second half by our defense. Good first and fourth quarter by our offense, but 4 quarters, it's what you need to win at this level.
Just to expound on that a little bit, Coach, that second quarter when Atlas kind of made that run, what sort of got away from you guys particularly, do you think?
I think we missed a couple shots, and we took a couple bad ones. We threw the ball and put it right in the stick, so they got back at us. We made a couple mistakes, on the defensive end, and we played too fast on the offensive end. And by playing so fast on the offensive end, we put ourselves, put a lot of pressure on our defense. And, at the end of it, the penalties and all of that made it choppy, certainly. But, maybe lost our composure a little bit and our discipline, and we have to be more disciplined. But, that one got away from us, and we let it get away from us.
Questions on Zoom? Miles?
Coach, what went into the decision to scratching Rob Pennell today?
Thought Matt played well in the last game. And, we played well on offense, our offense. So I thought Matt deserved just another shot.
And did you see anything out of Rob on the sideline, just kind of as a veteran, just giving support to his team?
He was great. I mean, he showed up this weekend. He didn't have to. He's handled all this very well. And, again, he was very supportive, great input. He's a professional, and he's a man, and he handled it that way.
Kyle?
Yeah, Coach, I mean, some bright spots for you guys tonight. Matt Brandel, another 4-goal performance, back-to-back, and Aiden Carroll, 4 points as well. Just the development of those two together in your offensive system and seeing those two kind of grow together, how important has it been to kind of just watch them blossom as this season's gone along and being core parts of what this offense will be, not only for the remainder of this season, but moving forward for this organization?
Yeah, again, we're young down there. I think the future's bright, for sure. And I think that Emmett's certainly held his own and done a real nice job for us. So, our young guys have really stepped up. Aldridge playing his first game today really did a nice job. We got some really talented young guys. But again, we've got to shoot the ball better. We're certainly more dynamic with Brandau out there. So, we're going to take a good hard look at having him out on the field, more, probably more on that attack spot. We certainly played better offense in the fourth quarter when he was out there. So, because he can do so many things. But yeah, I mean, the young guys have really stepped up and really shouldered a lot of this. Brad had some great opportunities today, even that last 2 where he rang it off the pipe. If, we're still in it, and it makes it real interesting down the stretch if he sticks that one. But, we need him to be successful.
Dan?
For Coach and for Joe, you mentioned, kind of struggling to play the full 48 minutes. Second half seemed to be where you guys have been, I think, at your best. What has to change for you to start better in some of these games?
Well, we actually started okay.
Yeah, today you started okay. It seemed like other games, their second half, like last week, your second half was obviously much better than your first half. There's some other games like that.
it's up to them. You know, it really is. We have to be more disciplined. We have to be more patient. We have to execute in the 6-on-6 game. And we're playing too fast. It leads to maybe some. We could probably get some better shots, and we certainly would have less turnovers. But again, it goes back to to discipline and executing the game plan. We do that for periods of time, and we look really good, and we're successful, and we create good opportunities, and then we kind of go off script, and we struggle. It's not like it's something we haven't talked about. It's not like it's something that the guys aren't aware of. It comes from them. I mean, there's only so much you can do when you're standing where we're standing.
Miles?
For Joe, you were 15 for 21, 71% at the line. When we talked earlier this season, you talked about kind of going against Trevor brings something a little bit more out in you. Can you just talk about how you were feeling at the stripe tonight?
I just try to do my best to give us a chance to win. I felt like I had a pretty good week preparation-wise. I coached a lot this week and took a lot of face-offs, so I felt pretty dialed in. And, I didn't pick up very many of those balls, so I think it really comes down to a 3-on-3 battle. And I've said it all season. I'll say it again. I think I got two of the best guys out there with me, and it shows when we get in some of these tight matchups.
Kyle?
Yeah, Joe, to kind of elaborate on that, Patra and Squires on that wing for you, it feels like they've really helped you kind of just elevate your game to another level from what we've seen from you. Just what has the, progression this season been like with those two and kind of working with them on the wings and just kind of being an in-sync machine, if you will, at the stripe, the three of you together?
Yeah, I think it starts in practice. We're a team that still does ground balls every week. Obviously, I wish our face-off success was translating to wins, so I don't want to hyper-focus on us being good at the stripe because it means nothing when we don't win games. But I think, us three playing in year 2 now together as a unit, our chemistry is coming along. Some of the tendencies, we just kind of know where each other are, and even if we're not able to pick the ball up, we know one of our other running mates on those wings is going to get it, and I think we've done a really good job working together. Even when we aren't able to talk, we know where each other are going to be, which is pretty special.
Any other questions on Zoom? Anyone else in here? Thank you, guys. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Coach Trevor Liam, congrats on the win tonight and on clinching a playoff berth. We'll start with opening thoughts on the game from each of you and then take questions.
Let's go with the captain here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we clinched, and that's really big. That's really big. And you know, I think just being on this team and the effort that we bring every week, I think that we've shown that we're a resilient group. And, you know, it really helps when you got this guy in cage, too. But you know, I just really, really pumped about our effort. We stayed at it. I think we didn't have the start that we wanted, but, you know, we got the job done.
William?
I mean, we started off pretty slow. I think they were like 2-0 and 3-1, and I think that we were a bit off our game defensively and weren't clicking as much on offense as usual. But I think we had a really effective talk that first time out. I think for the remainder of the game, we kind of dominated every aspect of the game, and I mean, having him at the X is pretty cool too. And yeah, I think I'm really proud of the guys. I mean, it's we were 1-2 at one point. Actually, they gave us our second loss, and then since then it's been wins. But I think that we've learned the good way and the hard way. That nothing's guaranteed in this league, and our goal was to not make the playoff, or was not to make the playoffs. It was to win the whole thing, and that's still our goal. And we're aware of the long game and the end prize here, and what it takes to get there. And that's little victories day in and day out every weekend.
Yeah, not our most ideal start, being down 2-0, 31 seconds into the game, 3-1 after that, but rattled off 4 in a row to get right back in it. And I thought we were really resilient today against a very good team, very good Whips team, a team we know very, very well. Been there a bunch. Ended our season a year ago in the semifinals. So thrilled to be 6-2. Thrilled to be the first team in with a couple games to go, and really, really excited for our guys, and a great time to enjoy this one in Salt Lake City tonight.
Questions? Yeah.
Coach, maybe I can ask you to build a little bit on that, because it feels like towards the end of that second quarter going into halftime, you guys really, no Atlas pun intended, I promise, but you grabbed the bull by the horns in a really big way. I think just what kind of got into this team there leading into halftime, that where you really sort of put your foot down?
Well, I think at the beginning, for whatever reason, we were kind of watching them play, and we weren't playing. We were not on the attack. We were not getting after them. It was sitting there watching them dictate kind of the tempo, and then, everything changed. And it's a simple game, this game. It happen if you're good in the middle, if you're great in the middle, and we're great in the middle. And in playoff games, you got to be great in the middle, especially, and that starts in the goal and the face-off X. And I thought, Trevor did a remarkable job, kind of fixing his game a little bit and adjusting to 91 in there. Got out the front a couple times, which was huge. Really, really pleased with Trev's overall game. Liam was Liam. That's something we're getting accustomed to. And he doesn't just save the ball, he catches the ball. And then we're going the other way with it. So, great from that early point in the first quarter for the rest of the way. And we knew we were going to get a run from them at the end. I mean, they're playing to survive, and we're playing to get in. And, they're a resilient bunch too. But this is all about us, tonight. And to be 6-2 in this league, the first team to 6, the first team in it, is a remarkable accomplishment, for our Atlas guys today.
Questions on Zoom? Paul?
Coach, losing Brett Makar right before the second half started, what was kind of your mindset now that you lose, into the game, you lose a pole, you're down some legs? How did you, what was your thought process in trying to keep all your long pulls legs fresh, to help ensure that they're going to be ready for, maybe a long defensive stand coming down the second half?
Well, you have to get creative, with only 5 poles in the lineup. And Coach Sino did a great job kind of adjusting there. I thought a guy who really stepped up was Michael Grace. He played Rambo there in the third quarter, and And then we kind of, moved Carp a little bit to some close D. When Michael came up, we kind of ham and egg that a little bit to try to keep those guys as fresh as possible. The good news is it was only for a half. It wasn't like, Brett got hurt like in the first play of the game, and then you had to go for, 46 minutes. All we had to go was for 24 to get through this, and then Liam just stepped up, and as we all know there. But we're always concerned for a great player like Brett. He's a stalwart in our team, one of our honchos back there on D, and we hope we get him back sooner than later.
Kyle?
Yeah, Liam, you took the ball pretty far down the field earlier in the game, and you take that hard hit, but you still finished today with 20 saves, your second performance of 20 saves this season, 71.4% tonight. In 11 of 13 of your career starts, you've had a save percentage of over 50%. Just talk about kind of bouncing back from taking a rough hit that you're not truly accustomed to, and being locked in pretty much the rest of the game, and just finding your stride and being comfortable back there.
Yeah, I mean, I think at first when I got hit and then had the whole commotion happen, I think I got a little bit riled up, and I think I did a good job at halftime, kind of settling back in, calming down, and just having fun playing the rest of the game. I think that when I get too riled up like that, which just happens once in a while for me, I get off my game, and I try to kind of change my perspective on it. Like, how cool is that? I just ran the ball up over the midfield line, which I do probably once every 4 games, and got rocked for the first time in a long time. And how cool is that? It'll be a good memory for me, and kind of put a smile back on my face, and went back out and played as loose as I think I have the whole season. And I think that more than anything else, just me having fun, not overthinking things, and just trying to see the ball and try to keep it out of the goal. That was pretty much my mentality, but just having fun with it, really.
Paul?
Question for Trevor. When things might not be going your way at the face-off dot clamp-wise, how does your mindset change into how you're going to stop, clean exits and try and make it more of a 3-on-3? How do you communicate with your wings, and what's your thought process going into that if you're not winning a lot of the clamps?
Yeah, I think it's just like getting to your counters quicker. I think that we got great wing guys, and I think that we're going to continue to look to strive there. I think that usually I think I haven't been winning the clamp a lot, relatively right now compared to in the past. So, I think it's an adjustment, and I'm excited for us to take that on. But I've been really happy with our battle and scrap at the wing. We got guys that really work hard and hustle, and that's going to keep boding well for us down the stretch.
Chris?
Yeah, Coach. Jeff Teat, the last time faces off against the Whipsnakes, has 1 point and 1 shot. Obviously tonight, 5-point performance, 7 shots. Would you say the difference was some sort of adjustments made on your part or his part, or more just a testament to, the inability to keep him down for that long?
Well, I think, the credit's Jeff. There was no adjustments by Stephen Brooks, myself, or anybody. Jeff had, everything to do with that. But you got to understand that matchup is arguably the 2 best players at their position in the world. Jeff being the reigning MVP, one of the best attackmen ever, and Matt Dunn, the former, player of the year defensively in the PLL. So, first game of the season when we played those guys, Matt Dunn got the best of him. And certainly Jeff made some adjustments in his game, got himself higher, kind of away from the goal, a little higher, got Matt in space. Nobody's sliding to Matt, and Jeff took advantage of that one-on-one matchup and, got the better of that one today. And if they played in a third game, who would know? But that's just 2 great players going at it and trying to figure it out.
Kyle?
Yeah, Coach, to kind of follow up on Jeff there, it seems like since Reed Bowering has been in the lineup on a more consistent basis for you guys, it's really unlocked Jeff this season. Can you just talk about, their chemistry and what you've seen them develop as Reed's, been able to crack into the 19-man lineup for you guys, and what Reed brings to the table to really help Jeff, be the best player he can be?
I think that's true without question. Reed being a great asset for and to Jeff, but also Reed with Xander Dixon. Reed had 2 or 3 with Xander today on the inside that Jeff fed Xander that were directly responsible to Reed's pick. But he's an amazing Canadian 2-man player. One of the best around. So physical, so tough, so selfless. He had a goal today. He could have had a couple more, but his the minute we put him in the lineup, our team has turned for the better, and he's been amazing through this run, and we're excited to have Reed back in the lineup when we head to Denver next weekend.
Any other questions on Zoom? Thank you guys. Enjoy the win.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.